All right. Good morning and welcome, ladies, to Training Tuesdays. Today we have Janet Torres, owner of Buena Vida Insurance Specialist. And I asked her to be on today as someone who is going to be transitioning healthcare coverage in the very near future. Because I was like, oh, I need to call her. But also just to give us an update on anything going on major since the last enrollment. I know a lot of us are 1099s or small business owners, so I wanted you guys to have an understanding of what healthcare changes that are out there. And I also want to the opportunity to introduce you to Janet. She is a member and she is who I refer all of our healthcare questions to, or health insurance questions to. So with that, I will let her take over. And then Janet, I will tell you, don't feel like you need to fill up the full 45 to 60 minutes or anything like that. These are meant to be kind of just quick and informative, and then we'll be available for questions. And I'm going to mute.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Summer. And thank you everyone for showing up today. So I do life and health insurance. I focus more on the health side, and I do help a lot of individuals, especially right now. There's a lot of changes happening with state Medicaid. People are losing their Medicaid that they were awarded during COVID when they wouldn't normally have qualified. They are now being booted off by the government. So I've received a lot of phone calls and people that are just needing help finding individual health plans for themselves and their families. So if you are on Medicaid or you know someone that is, and you receive a letter stating that you're losing your Medicaid, you have 60 days from the time of receiving that notice to contact me or get your insurance taken care of. Otherwise, you'll be out of insurance for the remainder of the year. The other thing happening is small businesses. You can enroll in coverage, or I should say provide coverage for your team of employees any time of the year. If you choose to do it right now, then you would have to agree to pay 50% of the health insurance, and then your employees would pay their 50%. If you wait until November, then it's pretty much you can choose to pay zero and you would still be able to get a policy for your employees. So that's basically like offering group health plans for your small business. Now, when it comes to insuring your small business, we have a couple of options. You can choose to go through like United Healthcare and Blue Cross and Blue Shield. However, those companies do have higher rates. So we really want to go through like the insurance exchange and get you a really good quote for your employees. I also do work with people that are on Medicare. So when people are turning 65 or new to disability, which is something that you might find some of your employees in that situation, just reach out to me and I can help guide them through the whole process of getting all of that set up. I do work with multiple insurance carriers. As a broker, I'm contracted with about probably 8 different carriers, nearly every single carrier available here in New Mexico. And I can really do my work to find the right price for you, the right plan for you, a plan that covers your providers or the hospital that you want to go to, because all that's very important, especially in the day and age of networks and HMOs and PPOs. And just to touch a little bit on the difference of HMOs and PPOs, I don't want to get too technical, but just so you know, HMOs do require you to use an in-network provider system. If you need to go out of network, let's say you want a second opinion from a provider who is in Arizona, you unfortunately don't have that option unless you want to self-pay. Now, when you go the PPO route, they do want you to stay in their network. However, if you need to go out of network, they will still pay a percentage of your visit for that doctor. Here in New Mexico, through the health insurance exchange called Be Well NM, that's where I do all my quoting through. That's where every insurance agent quotes and enrolls people for individual coverage. They do not offer PPOs, so you would have to go with an HMO. A lot of people are disappointed about that. I'm disappointed about it, but we do our best in making sure that your providers are in that network. And if it means that we have to make a call to that doctor just to be extra sure, then you and I will be on a 3-way call and we'll be making sure that that doctor is covered. There's not too many more updates. I know there is some things that are changing down the line here in the near future. But until they're fully set in stone, I really don't want to bring those up and maybe freak some people out with it. Does anybody have any questions so far?
I have a couple
Yeah, go ahead.
until I see them jump on.
Yeah.
Okay, so for a business owner, why does the percentage that they cover for their employees change from 50% now to almost 0% in November?
So that's because right now we're not in an open enrollment period.
Mhm.
So if you want to insure your employees, then you would need to cough up extra money for that.
So if you had done open enrollment in November, this last November, would you be paying a percentage, not, because I know that you can elect the percentage that you pay,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's kind of a penalty for not having done it for last November, and they're just saying, most people are just gonna be like, well, we'll just wait till this November.
Yeah, and actually you can choose, like, let's say you desperately want to provide coverage right now and you're like, man, 50% is a lot. You can do the enrollment and say, you know what, I'll just eat that cost until January. And in November, we can rewrite you a policy that is 0% your share.
Okay,
So you can change it down the line, but just some people, you know, you get in those certain situations where it's like, oh shoot, I forgot to do it, or now I really need it, and you just have no other option. So this would be one option to let you at least get them covered from now till November.
okay. And for from a lot of people, they have never had to switch from like the box checking health insurance, meaning like working for a corporation, to purchasing it on their own. So maybe go through that process of like what you need, how you research it, that kind of stuff.
Okay, awesome. So if you are leaving I say a normal employer and you're going to work for yourself or being a 1099, you have 60 days from the date of your loss of coverage. So basically, if you are given the choice to have COBRA, you don't have to take COBRA, but if you're going to want to qualify for subsidies on the marketplace, which is a subsidy is a discount on your premium given to you by the federal government, you have to at least take COBRA for the time that they're giving it to you, because they do ask if you're offered any other type of health coverage. So you have those 60 days, and in those 60 days, we have to make these important decisions.
So you have to accept COBRA for the 60 days and just assume you're going to be covered for 2 months. But during that time, you can start shopping to see where you're going to switch to once.
Exactly.
COBRA would be like gap health insurance, correct?
Yeah, and it's there just so that you don't have a gap of coverage.
Okay, so it's not like you lose your job and then you just don't have health insurance. It gives you a
Right.
60-day window.
Right.
Okay, and then what are some of the life-changing events or one of the qualifiers that they say, like, obviously, if you're on a spouse's health insurance and jobs change, that's one thing, but I know that like marriage and children and
Yeah, so if you get married or divorced, then you are eligible for a special enrollment period. That will be, again, 60 days. So anytime you have one of these special events or qualifying events, it's a 60-day window that you have to select a new plan or to make your move. If you have a child, if you have like loss of employer coverage, if you are just maybe you just not working anymore, or you got denied Medicaid, those are all special enrollment periods. Unfortunately, they do not let you add on like your significant other if you're not married. So that wouldn't, like, let's say you move in with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you're like, oh, well, now we move in together, so we have a combined income. If you're not married, they don't let you have a policy together.
so you have to wait until open enrollment, because our state does still honor domestic partnerships, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then I remember whenever you were quoting me, you needed like dates of birth, number of people, what was all the stuff that you needed?
So in
Income.
order to run a quote, so a quote can take anywhere from about 5 to 10 minutes, just depending on how many questions you have. But you will need your date of birth. We need your annual household income. And when I say household, I mean for everyone living in your house. So if you live with your husband and your in-laws, you need to include all of their income, even if they're not applying for coverage. Because this is going to impact you when you're doing your taxes. If you qualify for that discount and you do your taxes the following year and you underreported your income, then you'll get penalized on your taxes. So you also will need your social security number and the number of people in your household. Now the disc is, people ask me all the time, well, what's that sweet spot? What's that number of my income to, get that discounted premium? Well, there's really not one in particular. It depends on your household size and your income. So somebody with $100,000 income and a one-person household is not going to qualify for as big of a subsidy as someone at $100,000 with 3 people in their home. So I can't give like an exact number of, well, your income needs to be at this, because I know there's some really good accountants out there that can make things happen when you need to qualify for stuff.
Yeah. And then you had warned me too, as far as disclosing my income, you were like, we would rather err on the side of claiming too much than not enough, because that way, if I needed to, I would have a credit versus owing at the end.
Exactly. So
Is
when
that
you're
a federal thing or is that a state thing?
It's both.
Okay.
So federal gives you more money. So when we say subsidy, or we call them tax credits that they're offered to give you a discount on your premium, the federal government gives you the most. So I helped somebody just yesterday and they got like $800 from federal government, and the state of New Mexico gave them $11. So the state's not really bringing too much to the game, but it is the same concept. So they're giving you this credit so that you can get a discount on your premium. So if you underreport, and let's say you say, oh, I'm going to make 50,000 this year, but in reality you make 70, when you do your taxes, the government's going to want their money back. They're going to say, hey, you told us you were only going to make this much, so we gave you all this help with your premium, but now you made this much and you lied to us, so give us that money back. So granted, it's basically like paying back money that they loaned you, but nobody wants to pay more than they have to on tax time. So it's better to underreport or to overreport, I'm sorry, and make sure that at the very least, you're not going to pay anything back, and you might even get a little chunk during tax time to compensate for what you didn't get in discount that you would have qualified for.
Ladies, do any of you have, I have a couple more, but I don't want to like steal the whole thing. Are there any other questions? I know some of you are on your spouses or domestic partners health insurance, or some of you are individuals or 1099s. Do you guys have any specific questions? I know who y'all are.
They don't have any right now, but they'll think of them for later.
It'll come back. One thing that I was surprised by was I currently pay about $1,100 a month for health insurance for 3 people. And that's through a corporate, I'm a statutory W-2 employee.
Yeah.
So it's through a corporation with a discount. I don't know where the discount is, because that is almost my house payment.
Yeah.
But when I had Janet run mine, depending on which company I go with, her quotes came between, I think it was like 275 and right under 400.
Yeah.
And we were just going to double check that the doctors that I wanted, which option was the best choice for us. And I just couldn't believe that here I am with a very large company, and again, a different type of tax filing. So I know that has something to do with it, but and I don't really feel my 1,100 because it comes out of my ledger. So it doesn't ever actually like go into my bank account and then they come back to, take it back. But anyway, the very point is I was surprised that the price difference of just coming in and doing it on my own would be. And then I am only covering one of 2 of our children, because my oldest is covered under his mom. And she's a teacher, so she has great health insurance. So we didn't need to double insure him. But I've sent a lot of people to Janet. She's very thorough. She's very good. She has a great way of breaking it down. I will also ask you real quick, Janet, I know that we're not anywhere close to Medicare enrollment and that you did touch on it.
Yeah.
But Janet gets very busy during Medicare enrollment season. I don't know if season's the right word for it. It's like a hellacious several months.
Yeah, we call it.
Yeah, but if any of you either are on Medicare, which I know most of you probably are not, but your parents are, one thing that I've done, other than the fact that my mom is on, I think that she has some kind of SSI supplement, but I have told many of my older clients to call Janet every year just because it's not their Medicare changes. There's all kinds of scams involved with it. There's different types, A, B, C, and D, and G. And so I often tell them just to call her, or she hosts a lot of luncheons where she goes into bigger detail to make sure it's the Medicare is the right fit. So yeah, if you just want to briefly go over that, just because like I said, I know a lot of us, our parents are in that age group, and it's super confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do what I call Medicare 101s. Usually I host them at the library, but sometimes I do them at restaurants. And I really just, I'm not selling. I'm a sales agent, I'm a broker, so my job is selling, but in that moment, I'm just educating. And I like to focus on educating people on insurance because especially the Medicare clientele, they have so many things flying at them. They have mailers, they have phone calls, all these, like Summer said, scams just coming out of everywhere. So I want them to be informed of what their options are. I want them to feel comfortable saying, no, I don't want that. I want this. The last thing I want them to feel is like bamboozled, like, oh, this lady told me I needed to get this plan and I don't understand it. So really that's my focus. I do get very busy during October through pretty much the end of December. And I work from anywhere. So if you have a relative out of town, if you have a relative, even Silver City, I could travel to Ruidoso, I can go to them and I provide that service. I know a lot of elderly don't get around, or they don't like to drive anymore, or they're just like, hey, I'm retired. You come to me. I will be more than happy to do that. And like Summer mentioned, Medicare, well, all health insurance changes, but Medicare specifically is guaranteed to change every single year. Even if their plan isn't changing specifically, there's certain factors that we need to review with them. So I can come in and just help them do that plan review, even without, trying to enroll them in anything. I'm just helping them to understand what their new benefits are for the following year and just review to make sure what they have is still the right fit for their needs. Because as you know, as people age, their health tends to decline. Thankfully, not every single person is like that, but a lot of elderly people end up getting sick as they get older. So what they had when they were first 65 may not fit them when they're 70, 75. So even if I can't help them, my consultations are free. I don't charge them anything. So yes, please call me for that. And also, with you going back to just regular health insurance for individuals, for people like you and me that need coverage, consultations are free. So I don't charge you when I enroll you, and the companies see that I enrolled you, then they in turn will pay me. So everything's no cost to you.
Perfect. I want to talk to you after we get off of here.
Okay.
I think, well, I'm just going to say, I think we'll book a date before your crazy Medicare starts, where the association presents one for our members' moms. So
Okay.
that's just
Awesome. Yes,
something.
absolutely.
Just because I personally, I know, I mean, I just FaceTimed with my mom, and because I do it every morning, but I still can't get her to Zoom to anything.
No.
So if she's like, if there's coffee and they're going to explain something to me, I'll go. Well, ladies, if no one else has any other questions, I like the point of these Tuesday trainings are supposed to be like brief and to the point, and just give you nuggets of information that are pertinent to you or could be, and then open it up for questions. So if no one else has questions, then we'll go ahead and I'll cut off the recorder and the
Well,
record.
really quick before you do that,
Go
I
ahead,
would just
baby.
like to tell everybody that I am trying to run a giveaway on my Facebook page and my Instagram to honor two nurses here in our community this week. It's nothing huge. I'm offering two $20 Starbucks cards and an order of nurse appreciation mini cookies from Created by Carla.
Okay.
And if you know a nurse, just go to my page, Buena Vida Insurance Specialist LLC, and just tag your favorite nurse, like my page. And then on Thursday, I will be doing the drawing in the evening, and I will go and surprise the nurses the following day. So please, if you have a chance, make sure you do that.
Perfect. If I see, I'll look up the post here in just a second, and I'll share it to our pages.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for coming. I hope you learned something. Have a nice day.
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, Rainbow.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Janet, give me 1 second. And oh, wait, stop recording.